So here we are working on this LS motor in this 944. Yes, it's in there. Ha! I did manage to get the two bolts on this side. Well, the one I got tight. The other one I think ain't gonna go. I think I stuck a slightly too long bolt in it. It started tightening up, and when I looked at it, it still had about 3 or 4 threads to go before it engaged the lock washer. So not sure what's up with that, but it'll live with 5 bolts in it, I'm sure. Well, it has a 6 bolt in it, it's just not up against the bell housing. But back to our little congested area back here. We've got it pretty well figured out. We have the adapter from metric oil pressure sending unit to 1/8" pipe in there, and then we have a T on it, and off of the T we have our oil pressure sending unit for the gauge in the dash. And then I took this the original oil pressure sending unit from our LS engine here, and it's really big, so I just drilled and tapped it for 1/8" pipe thread, so I have a short nipple going down to the top of that T. So that pretty much takes care of our 2 oil pressure sending unit dilemma. It's kind of tight, but it fits in there with no trouble at all, so that's good. And the current solution for the fuel pressure regulator was a tight 90°. These are 1/8" pipe too, so a tight 90, and I have a 2" nipple on here now, and a coupler to put the gauge on. We could probably go with a 1.5 or 1" nipple though, but this is what we have right now. I kind of like that. I mean, I can see it with no trouble. You can get to the adjustment here with no trouble. So that'll work. The other thing that has to fit back in here is the see that the vacuum ports at the back of the manifold, and it points that way. We have to get vacuum to this reference port on the regulator and to our heating system right there. And I think that's all we have to hook vacuum to. So it looks like we can connect something to it. I was just going to go with a hose and a T. Actually had it together here. This is it mocked up. So cut this, probably cut it about there, and just stick it on the intake manifold and take our vacuum ports off of here. Looks like I probably got the wrong size here, but hey, we'll make it work somehow. If we need to, I've got a T that's 1/8" vacuum there. Anyway, we got enough stuff to make it work. And the engine ground. Oh, this is actually the plug for the LS sending unit. So that'll go on something like, looks like this. There you go. It sticks up a little high, so what we'll have to do is get the atomic LS oil pressure end, cut it off, and I'll probably just J-hook, solder, and shrink wrap the wires together for it, and that'll be that. So we'll have in the dash display on the atomic LS system, I'll be able to see oil pressure, which is good. And the gauge in the car should also work. So it's also good. So here, let me just take the intake manifold off here. look at this. I mean, none of this is tight yet. That's why the gauge is flopping around still. That's basically it. And I put a little pressure on this cable and this clamp and pushed it into the firewall as hard as it'll go, and made sure the cable is on top of this hose right here. So now the red cover just touches it. So I'm not going to worry about that anymore. We need to finish this up, get this stuff all sealed and tightened up. Then put the vacuum stuff on, and my ground lug is back here, so I'll have to hook up the battery ground, and the Atomic LS system has 2 grounds, so I'll probably just set the intake manifold up here and get them things tightened down on there along with the vacuum stuff, and then move the intake manifold onto the engine for the last time. So yeah, that should take care of everything. Oh, and we also got to get the inlet to the fuel pressure regulator hooked up too. That's probably going to have to go this way and then loop up to the fuel pressure rail at the back there. But that should work. It should all fit. I don't see any real problems. It'll all fit. It's just busy, that's all. But it should work. Okay, well, we got the oil pressure senders are all sealed up and tightened down in there. The fuel pressure regulator fittings are all tightened up in there. Fuel gauge is on there. The line from the fuel rail to the bottom fitting on the fuel pressure regulator is on there and tightened up. Just have this will connect. There's a 90 that comes off of this fuel rail here, and that will connect to this. And yeah, that's what we got done for tonight. I mean, the intake manifold's not on there permanently or anything. It's just sitting there so we can see if everything fits. It all seems to just barely fit back there. So yeah, this is what we have. This will go on to this vacuum port in the back of the intake manifold, which is right alongside the oil pressure sending units, but it'll fit. And one of these goes to the fuel pressure regulator, and the other one goes to the heater valve. So that's going to be it for tonight. Maybe tomorrow night we can, hopefully tomorrow night we can get to the point where we can bolt the intake manifold on permanently. Then we can move on to the rest of the fuel system and do some wiring and probably a couple other things, and we'll be ready to fire it up.